Longview City Council held their bi-weekly meeting tonight, and one group came out in full force to try to find a solution for an issue that the city has been facing.
They did. KLTV's Alex Weister was in that meeting. He takes us there tonight where lots of opinions were shared.
There were three main discussion items at Longview City Council, but one rose to the top for the citizens: stray animals.
I absolutely think that the stray animal population is getting worse. Inflation is causing problems for families. People can no longer take care of their pets.
Many who spoke at the meeting during public comments stated that the stray population is not a new thing, instead having built up for years.
Fortunately, my kids have been chased off the bus. I have had my dog attacked in my front yard. I have experienced it personally. The problem is too, though, is that like I said, there's so many more issues to it.
One major thing that has changed: the issue has become deadly, as in February, Kenneth Pearson was killed by a group of loose dogs.
The death of anyone centered around an animal situation that hasn't been controlled or couldn't be controlled is devastating.
Council all stated their support for the new ordinances that would bring stronger enforcement on vaccinations, microchipping, spaying and neutering, and breeding. However, there were some slight changes they felt needed to be looked at closer.
And those that are, other reasons didn't know about the ordinance, just due to time and ability and necessity, they may need the voucher program, different things that are going on. We want to make sure that they're not being punished for that.
Alex Weister, KLTV 7 News.
November 14th meeting is when the Mayor Ishihara says that the council plans to vote on the ordinance, stating that the council wanted to wait to make some small changes to the ordinance.